Hey there, this is Sarah from Entrepreneurs Accounting Academy. In this video, I am going to teach you a technique on how to memorize debits and credits. Debit and credit is a topic that's intimidating to a lot of people, and especially to those who would like to pursue accounting. In fact, based on experience, a lot of individuals did not pursue accounting just because of the topic of debit and credit. But debit and credit is actually simple. Debit in accounting is just used to mean left side entry, and credit is just used to mean right side entry. The foundation for debit and credit is your accounting equation. The accounting equation states that assets are equal to liabilities and equity. Assets are on the left side of the accounting equation, while liabilities and equity are on the right side of the accounting equation. The side on which the account is on is also their normal side. Normal side in accounting means that this is where we increase the asset. There are 5 elements of the financial statements. You have assets, liabilities, equity, revenue, and expenses. You'll notice that the accounting equation only has assets, liabilities, and equity. This is why, in order for us to memorize which accounts to debit and which accounts to credit, we now have to expand the accounting equation to include revenues and expenses. The side on which revenue and expense is going to be on is going to be dependent on how they affect equity. Now, revenues increase equity, while expenses decrease equity. For this reason, revenue will take the side of equity, which is on the right side or your credit side, and expenses will take the opposite side or the debit side or the left side. The expanded accounting equation will now read as assets plus expenses is equal to liabilities plus equity plus revenue. Notice that because expenses decrease equity, it was placed on the other side. I talked about the normal sides of the accounts in the accounting equation, wherein I said the normal sides is where you increase the account. Now, with expenses, it goes to the other side because the other side of the normal side is where you decrease the account. The technique that I am talking about is actually just for you to do the bye-bye gesture. The bye-bye gesture will help you memorize which accounts to debit and which accounts to credit. In order for us to do this, we will now assign our fingers to the 5 elements of the financial statements. So your thumb is going to be your asset, your forefinger is going to be your liability, your middle finger is going to be your equity, and your ring finger is going to be your revenue, and your pinky finger is going to be your expense. We use the mnemonic ALERE in order for us to remember which accounts goes into each of the fingers. So ALERE. A for assets, L for liabilities, E for equity, R for revenue, and E for expenses. So the first E is for equity, while the last E is for expenses. When you do the gesture bye-bye, you use the middle 3 fingers in order to say goodbye. So you will notice that the middle 3 fingers are actually your liabilities, your equity, and your revenue. In the accounting equation, you will notice that these 3 fingers actually have credit normal sides. And so in order for us to know which accounts to debit and which accounts to credit, when we say bye-bye, we know that the fingers we use to say bye-bye or to do the gesture bye-bye are actually the fingers that have credit normal balances. The ones that remain standing, which are your thumb and your pinky finger, which incidentally are also your assets and your expenses, actually have normal debit balances. So that's just how we do the bye gesture in order for us to memorize which accounts to debit and which accounts to credit. Now the gesture bye-bye will have a different connotation for you because these 3 fingers that you use to do the gesture bye-bye are actually the elements that have normal credit balances. Again, this would be your liabilities, your equity, and your revenue. While the ones that remain standing, which are your thumb and your pinky finger, are going to be the ones that will have normal debit sides. This technique actually helped me memorize debits and credits in college, and I hope it helps you too. Do let me know if this technique has helped you memorize debits and credits and it has made it simpler for you to pursue your accounting or your bookkeeping career. This is Entrepreneurs Accounting Academy, where your journey to financial mastery begins.